Hey everybody, Pastor Vern with you for your daily update, August 12th, 2020. We talked yesterday a little bit about the book of Samuel. It's split into two books in the English Bible. In the original Hebrew Bible, it is one book, but it does have kind of a natural breaking point in it. The first one we talked about had a lot to do with Samuel and some of the other folks like Goliath and Eli and some of the other folks that have prominent places in the story of the of God's people. And Samuel had a very prominent place there. He went from being a prophet to being a priest. And he was what they called one of the writing prophets, which means that he wrote down a lot of his prophecy. He just didn't call it out in the city square and or gone to just certain individuals to share this prophecy that God had called him to go talk to. And so this is a little different scenario than some of the prophets. The second book, the what we call the second book of Samuel, has a lot to do with King David. Basically, he's the crux of the story. Um, King David had, of course, we know him as a great king. As a Jesus was a descendant of King David, but he also had a pretty dark side also, and Samuel chronicles that dark side along with the good things that David did. Um, it includes Samuel's life included a lot of tough things: murder, adultery, um, just all kinds of stuff that we would not usually um, associate with a great person in faith. But one of the things that's part of that lesson is that God can use flawed people. And also, it brings about the correcting punishment from sin. David did not get off scot-free with his crimes. He received punishment from God. He was tore up inside lots of times by the things he did. He was tried to be brought down by other leaders. Um, he just had everything that you can imagine on both the glory and the downside of being a king. But God kept him in place, and God kept up with the ability to not only punish but to redeem David and use him as a person who, even though he is damaged, God could still use him to uh, do the things that God needed to do at that time. Um, it it's one of these books that's really needs to be read carefully, because if you read it without that in mind, without in mind that God can use flawed people for for um, His purposes, for the building of the kingdom, you would think that there is very little morality in God's world, which is just absolutely the opposite. Um, because David suffered greatly for those things that he had done, and there's a lot of things in the book of Samuel that would indicate to us that um, David's life would have been a lot easier, a lot more manageable if he hadn't succumbed to the things of the world, those things that were his passions of the world that he couldn't seem to control when he was interested in scenarios of other people's wives, other ways of getting what he wanted. So Second Samuel is a story of both triumph and tragedy. It's a story of sin and redemption. It's a story of using people, ordinary people like us, as well as extraordinary people like David, to accomplish God's goal. All right, hang in there. It's been we've been in this COVID thing for a long time. I don't know what's going to continue with it. We are having worship with our in our churches at this point. We're looking to move forward to doing some other things depending on what happens in the next few weeks. With school starting, y'all be safe with that. Keep in mind that to take care of yourselves and the best you can. So watch out for others and take care of yourself. Best you can. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye.